Real quick recording. It actually took me a good hour to figure it out. I kept running into issue after issue after issue, but this is good. That way you will learn from my mistakes. One of the things I was trying to do with this tutorial is to show you how to bake your high and low. Some of you were having some huge issues with some really heavy ZBrush files, and you guys were up in the 12 to 15 million for active points, and then even higher on your total points. So I've never seen that before. I'm kind of suspicious. I probably think when you guys started adding skin detail, that was adding a lot more geometry to it. Probably overkill at this point, since we're going to do all that. There's better tools in Substance Painter that will scatter that surface and put skin, you know, the dermal or the epidermal layer of skin on there in Substance Painter. So anyways, let's get started. I've learned a lot through this process, a lot of little nuances that will really get you upset and moving in the wrong direction, but I want to make sure you guys understand the correct way. So you can see here how the face was brought over, and we're going to use a different technique of baking out the maps, and this one totally different process, and probably better. I guess it's maybe not controversial, but maybe in the way we're doing it, but I think the results are equal or probably better. All right, so we have our 5. Some of you have 6 and 7, and you will want to export out a normal map. So one of the things is depending on, like, if you want it at 1. So at 1 is a low resolution. We're at 3,000 polygons. So if you did want to rig a character that was arms and feet, you would definitely want to do a lower resolution, especially with fingers and so forth. This makes rigging a lot easier. You can definitely go up to 2. I mean, go ahead and go up to 2 on this project. It's fine. We're at 22,000. It's not going to break the bank, and we can do some blend shapes. It's just a little bit harder. If we were doing this for gaming, definitely 1. All right, so definitely stick with 2 is great. And what we're going to do, we already have this REUV mapped. We've done that before. And so what we're going to do is create a normal map. And before that, we want to make sure it's in 4K. All right, so you just see me scrolling up here, and we're going to look for our UV map. Okay, so right now, yours might be set at 512, which is half K, 1K, 2K, and 4K. So 4K is high as it'll go. You want the most resolution. It doesn't do 8K for some reason. Maybe the newer ZBrush does. But 4K is plenty for what we're doing. We're going to be adding other details to our map. All right, so all we're going to do is go down to where it says normal map. All right, so you can see I've already done one. It was bad, and I'll show you why in just a second. So we're going to go ahead and create a normal map. And again, it's creating the normal map for number 2, not number 1 division. You can see that. So we're going to go ahead and create a normal map. All right, and you can see just like that, did it very quickly. So we're in the wheelhouse of ZBrush. They understand this. One of the huge things, please listen to me. This is a big thing, and I'll make a huge emphasis. If you look at this normal map, you can see the neck is in the up position. All right, just took me a long time to figure out what was going on. So the head or the neck area, you can see a huge impression there. All right, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I'll explain it. So what we want to do is clone this material, and what that does is allows us to export out. All right, so we have our clone material here. All right, so make sure you have it selected, look over it, make sure it's correct. So this is the huge thing that you have to do, is make sure you flip this. All right, so we flip it. We're going to look at, now you can see that neck impression. It's on the bottom, okay? If you had it on the other way, we go into Substance Painter, and we like keep putting the material on there, keep putting the material. I did it 6 times until I figured out that it was flipped. So learn from my mistakes. So we have it flipped, and we're going to go ahead and export it out. All right, I was doing, based on another tutorial, I do a lot of tutorials and I combine them together, so you may see this on other tutorials. Now they were using a TIFF, all right, 16-bit TIFF, and that wasn't working for me. So I'm gonna go back to JPEG. I just use what is working. Older software may be doing different things. Other software packages may have a different TIFF. So that is that. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's flipped on my horizontal, and I'm going to call this latest. You'll see there's about 10 versions of these faces. Latest normal underscore map underscore face. All right, so we're going to hit save. All right, and the big thing right here, this is just allowing you to see it, but if you don't hit return, it won't save it. So don't hit escape, just hit return. All right, that's saving it. All right, just make sure you go into your folder and just make sure your latest normal. So it's 6:48 a.m. We've got our latest normal mask map face is right there. All right, make sure it's flipped, make sure it's a JPEG, make sure it's 4K. Those are the 4 or 3 kind of tricks to doing this. All right. Number 2, a lot of people were getting into Substance Painter and realizing their eyes were missing. So that's embarrassing. So we definitely want to have our eyes, I think. I think it makes it a little bit realistic, since we'll probably be just doing screenshots or a rough turntable in Substance Painter. Probably just a lot of screenshots, probably is my guess. So we want to export out these really quickly. I'll show you how to do that into Maya. So we're going to export the eyes and also the face. And you'll do level 2, okay? Not level 1, but level 2, because this is what we made our normal maps for, was this level. All right, so I've already done it. I want to rinse and repeat it so you guys see it. Export. I'm going to go ahead and call this dude face, dude eyes. I'm just going to replace it so you can just see, replace, yes, thank you very much. And we're going to go ahead to the face. You can just see the whole process. And we're going to do the dude face. Let's see, dude eyes, dude face. All right, when we hit save. Okay, replace, excellent. All right, so now we're going to go into Maya really quickly. And you can see this is from before when I was trying to figure it out. So we're going to go ahead and import our eyes and our face. So that's our OBJ, that's our face. And you notice that it's sitting in the right origin. You notice that there's no eyes in there. So we're going to import those in also. All right, import. And we're going to do eyeballs. Hopefully you can see it. There we go. And import. All right, so now you can see select the eyes, and the eyes are high polygon count, way over budget. Could probably done that by half of that. All right, 2 things that you need to do in Maya. First, import them all. 3 things: import everything, make sure everything's sitting correctly in the correct axis, and one thing we'll do is put material editors on these. This is how Substance Painter will pull apart the head and the eyes as 2 separate subjects. First of all, we already have UV mapped it, so we don't need to look into that. We may need to look at UV editor here for the eyes. Let's hit F. All right, so the eyes are pretty poorly UV mapped. You may want to redo those. Just select those, and we can just go front really quickly. UV, and we can do, let's do automatic, see what happens. No, that's horrible. All right, let's Command Z, and I'm going to do planar, and to the camera, keep ratio, camera, project. All right, so that's a little bit bigger. You'll have a little bit more real estate, and it's sitting correctly. So I'm glad I did that really quickly. So let's look at the face. The face is UV mapped. There's a lot of white behind it. That's all right, but you can see the echo of that. All right, so make sure it is UV mapped. I guess that's 4 things that you can do in Maya. So good thing we did the eyes. All right, the big thing is material. All right, so we're going to go into modeling, we go rendering, and assign new material, and we're going to do Lambert for the skin, and we're just going to call it skin. All right, don't keep it. Now, if you were doing like a very complex character, it had like a belt buckle, shoes, pants, jeans, skirt, I don't know, t-shirt, whatever. You need to label each of these objects as material because Substance Painter is going to treat each of those objects as materials. It'll make sense once we go into the next phase. All right, so we have the skin here. You can see it's skin right here, and then we're going to do the eyes. We're going to rinse and repeat. We're going to do lighting, shading, assign new material, and this one we're going to do a blend. It's a little bit shinier. Doesn't really matter. Substance Painter will create something else. So we're going to do eyes. Okay. And return, and let's get out of all that. And now we want to export all. All right, so we're going to export all. And we're going to do dude material 3. All right, make sure this is FBX right here. If FBX is not showing up, you'll need to go up to your Windows outliner and plug in and turn on the FBX. FBX is critical to this because it's us bearing in all those materials that we just edited. All right, before I do that, one thing I forgot to do is relax. So I think, let's see if I can get into my QuickTime here. You can see if you do not relax it, see how faceted this will be. If you don't relax your normals or relax your edges, it'll come out looking sad like that. So you want to relax those. That is probably the biggest thing you need to do in here. So we're going to right click edge, and we're going to marquee the whole entire thing. All right. Sometimes you want those hard edges, like say if we're doing a remote control and we want those edges really sharp, but this is organic, like a dinosaur or human, we're more of an organic. So what we're going to do is go back to modeling, and you got to give me a second to find this. So we're looking for something called soft edge. I think it's in mesh. I think it's not smooth. It's called hardened edge and soften edge. You're probably seeing and yelling at the screen. Let's go mesh tools, mesh display. All right, there it is right here. So it's in mesh display, and we want to soften edge. All right, if you don't do this, it'll come up rough. All right, so let's rinse and repeat. Let's export all. Soften edge, we have material, and also we UV map the eyes, and we're export all. All right, so I'm going to do an FBX. Make sure this is FBX, not an OBJ or JPEG. Make sure it's FBX, keeps all that data. We're going to go to 3, export all. Boom. All right, excellent. So now we're going to get into Substance Painter, and I'm going to open it up. All right, and I'm going to quit it. Start all over Substance Painter. So we're going to open it up. This is the Adobe version, not the old Substance Painter. So hopefully my interface looks exactly like your interface, so there's no questions of where did that tool set go. So we're going to go to File, New, and 4K, select our object, which is FBX. So due today, I think that's today, 6:56, believe it or not. We are going to select that, and we want to bring in our normal map. So we go down to this little thing. So instead of what we're doing to baking high and low, this is a little bit different. We're going to bring in our normal. So we're going to hit add, and I think this is the latest. This is at 6:48. Latest normal map face. I've done millions of these this morning. You can see all the ones I've screwed up on. So we're going to hit that one. It's a JPEG, not a TIFF. So we're going to open, and we hit okie dokie. All right, so right off the bat, you can notice that our face does not have the normal map. And you can also see our eyeballs. Also, you can see that our material that we did in Maya is broken apart. So we have our eyes, and we skin, the skin. You can see underscore skin. This is my naming hierarchy, and it did put dude eyes and all that in there before, I don't know why. All right, so we want to select our skin and we want to add our normal map. Okay, this took me a long time to figure out because I kept flipping it wrong, and then also I thought it right off the bat it put the normal map on it. It does not. You have to select it and then you have to bake it out. All right, so as we scroll down, normally we hit bake mesh and we do our high and our low and then compress it. But since you guys have huge files, that's not going to work. So we're going to hit select normal. This is our normal. Make sure that neck is on the bottom there. You can see I can't kind of move my cursor because it flips it off, but you can see that the kind of kidney shape, that's kind of the bottom of the neck. All right, we select it. You see it selected now as part of our hierarchy. You do not hit space normals. That's a different type of normal subset. So we're gonna hit bake mesh. Again, make sure you hit that normal for the skin, not the eyes, okay? Totally not the right UV. All right, so we're gonna hit bake meshy mesh. We're gonna turn off our normal because we are baking in the one that we have selected. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go up, sorry, 4K, not 8K, just too heavy for what we're doing. We're doing a lot of skin shaders, so it's gonna be heavy anyways. All right, so we cross our fingers, hope everything works correctly, and we hit bake selected textures. All right, good sign. We can start to see our frown line was showing up. Before, the frown line was showing on the back of the skull because we had the UVs flipped. I don't know why ZBrush has it flipped because it's also an issue in Maya also. The UVs are flipped. So you can start to see all the baking. Let it do its business. Again, this is really helpful that you have your eyes in here and then the skin are separate materials. And also both of them are in the same scene before other people have missing eyeballs and so forth. All right. I don't think there's a big difference between baking out high and low. Some people, this is all on one tutorial that I watched, it's better around the curvature of the mouth and the eyes if you have a lot of detail. All right, we're getting close, and I'll stop this and then upload it, and then we'll move on. All right, almost done. That actually took a lot longer than I thought. It is using that normal map data, which was 4K, and crunching it all around, utilizing it as it's doing its UV. So I hit OK, and just going to hit my shift and holding my right, and you can see all those little bits and pieces that I modeled. And again, this is not a great model. This was done in about 15-30 minutes. I would have spent 4 to 8 hours if I wanted to really get this nice and clean. All right, so that is your starting point. You've got your eyes, you've got your skin, your eyes were UV mapped. Each one of these has its own material, and we brought in our normal maps instead of baking high and low objects. All right, hopefully this will help you guys out, especially the ones that were just crashing and swearing up a storm. All right, good luck.